big Guardian Druid changes, which initially I heard like, oh wow, something's happened, yay! But it's not good.
Yep, they made it worse.
And yeah. There you go, they got a maul damage buff.
I think it was...
Now they're all drowning.
Yeah, I think it was Salute who was saying, like, why is maul in the game the way it is? Why is it an on GCD, like, rage dumper? What is going on? Obviously, it's like it's analogous to Revenge, but it doesn't have the benefits that Revenge has, and it fights really hard with Ironfur. You're like, please.
Fantasy's cool.
Just one little design pass, please.
Fantasy's
just
cool. Gameplay's fucking dog.
Yeah.
At least I don't know. Anytime I've hopped on Guardian, which admittedly is very limited, but honestly, I hit a few of their buttons at the target dummy, and I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go be a warrior and stamp the floor.
Yeah.
I guess there's like a core fantasy thing where I would really like them to take another pass, perhaps, at the fantasy of Guardian and maybe work out how they could like. I just make it a bit more spicy and exciting.
That's the thing, right?
It is just like, I'm a bear, I have a mouth, and I have 2 claws. That's it.
It has never had a good fantasy, because I know people probably don't think of this very much, and I haven't considered if they do this very much now, but I remember back in the day, and just what were bears? They were the dodge tank. You're like, sorry, have you ever seen a bear? Bears aren't fucking like nimble, agile. I mean, they're pretty fast, but they're not going to be like, oh, is that a sword coming? Okay, dodge. It's like,
yeah, the bear.
That's no. The point of a bear is it is big and it is strong, and you hit it and it goes, I didn't feel that dickhead. You go, oh, shit. The bear's going to kill me now. You're like, well, okay, so what it's supposed to be,
how about
like really high armored? Frenzied regen was cool because it's like basically all the things that a warrior has in like ignore pain. That should be a bear. A bear should have ignore pain. A bear should be, I'm so angry and bear-like that I'm going to fucking kill you.
Coke hippo form. You know the story about the Coke hippos?
No.
So I can't remember it exactly, but I think it basically comes down to, probably some.
I can get the gist.
Decently not reputable fella. Was it in Africa? I forget where. But anyway, he has cocaine. He gives cocaine to these hippos, and it turns out it like permanently changes them in some way, and they're just these fucking crazy berserk, insane cocaine hippos.
Sick.
Yeah.
What happens when you break a hippo's like dopaminergic cycle?
Yeah, basically.
They just go mad.
No, that's cock. C-O-K-E.
Oh, fuck.
Like a cock hippo's probably.
That's not.
Oh, fuck no, it was Pablo Escobar.
Okay.
There we go. How Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos
go away, tell it.
Became a biodiversity nightmare. There we go. Coke hippos are problematic, folks.
Oh,
very good. Anyway.
Yeah.
Coke hippos.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird, right? It's awkward. They can't find a fantasy except for being a bear. Like that's cool and all, but like I think Frenzied Regen Iron Fur are kind of okay. The idea of my fur is really tough because I'm a druid and I can like manifest some weird shit. That's okay in the sense that like Barkskin's okay.
It needs a UX pass. Like you give it some
Yeah.
animations and effects in there that would make that feel way better.
Yeah, but also it needs more of a gameplay niche than Thrash and Swipe and Mangle and Moonfire, because Moonfire kind of works, but then you've got everyone's Moonfiring because Cat's Moonfire now because Lunar Inspiration's like kind of free and you're like, why is everyone Moonfiring?
Well, we got a superhero from True Birch. He said, played Guardian. And I know there's a bunch of supers. I have a list of them, and we'll do supers at the end. Played Guardian in Shadowlands. Are we sure bears aren't being given the power shift fantasy from Shadowlands? See, the thing is, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I never really paid attention to Guardian.
We didn't have any Guardian tanks in our raid either.
Because they're fucking boring and pointless. But I don't think so. I don't think there's any. In terms of power shift, they obviously like off tank stuff they can shift for other stuff when they off tank. But in terms of hey, you're a Guardian and M+, what do you do? Sit in bear form and you press Thrash and Swipe. And then you press Berserk and then you don't have. Was it Rage the Sleeper? Well, I can't remember. The legendary gives you big leech and big damage in Berserk. And no cooldown, so you press Thrash. So you literally press Berserk and then press Thrash. And then you run out of that and then you go, oh, I guess I'm done now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there's much really there. They just need. So I don't think they need a full overhaul, but they do need some interesting gameplay applied to Frenzied Regen and Iron Fur. Because the minute they feel a little bit like Iron Fur is not quite shield block because you stack it up, and that's okay. But Frenzied Regen is just here's strong but limited death strike. And you just kind of run into fantasy because Brewmaster's obviously like the dodge tank that staggers stuff, and it would almost make more sense for bear tanks to stagger because bears don't give a shit that they're hurt. They're feral. They will just kill you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things but you can't do that because you go, well, that's based on them taking damage.
I suppose.
I've got it. Bears are the only ones with a vengeance. Oh shit, they're the only tank you can play. Now you go.
Well, is it the idea then that it's like bears, you're not just a literal bear, you're a bear druid. And maybe if they're able to kind of merge those ideas together a bit more, they could come up with a fantasy.
Yeah, you could, maybe that's where you would maybe need to go, okay, so you're kind of, the problem is that always happens with shifting. So unless guardians or bears who can like heal themselves, but then you're like, you can rejuvenate yourself. Yeah, but that feels a bit weird. And then that's also Frenzied Regen kind of does that. And then the only thing I could think of is maybe if you want to lean, and it's probably, fucking hell, I can't speak. The problem is Iron Fur kind of does this, where it's Iron Fur, you go, that's a cool sounding name, but turning fur to iron doesn't make sense. And then you go, turn it to stone or bark or wood or something, like the stone appearance of the artifact.
Yeah, that
I can't remember. Cool. Get like a wooden version of that. And you're like, oh yeah, you turn into wood, but then you're not a bear anymore. You're a weird wood thing. And you go, you know what? This is kind of hard to piece together. How to actually do a bear tank properly, like stepping on the toes of ignore pain, stagger, or self healing, because that's obviously the other tanks have those. Like shit, this one's actually hard. Usually I'm like, I can solve this problem. I'm like,
no,
I have no idea how to solve this. Shit, that's first.
I would say lean on the druid magic empowering the form of a bear more than the bear itself, maybe. We've got a super here from Starshimmer Moonlight who said, from my raid team I'm in, we have a bear main tank, and most of the time, from what I and the other healers say, he has no defensive outside of a massive health pool, which does nothing against some raid bosses.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's the thing, they have a massive health pool and they can regen it, and that's like, I guess, they can mash Iron Fur, but it'll only take you so far. And that increases your armor, right?
Yeah, because a lot of defensives now are based on armor. Unless you're playing a Brewmaster now, in which case you've got Diffuse Magic and Dampen Harm, and you're like, I'm fucking unkillable.
Yeah.
Also, Zen Meditation you can upgrade to no longer be cancelled on taking a melee attack.
I used to play Brewmaster.
Brewmaster is fantastic.
Cool
it is fantastic in DF.
Yeah.
It is. The only problem is it might have like one too many buttons, because it doesn't, like, most of my like key binding stuff works for Holy Priest and Brewmaster's. Like, these are too many buttons. I have to change how my keybinds work for it.
John's got it right.
Yep.
They just exist to carry flags.
Yeah. No, because but Vengeance can double Infernal Strike. So Vengeance don't need, so they compete there. It's not just the dash and wild charge, prepare for the best.